Hi, my name's Steve Lodge and I want to do a video about being loving but also being strong. Now, the message of love and loving everyone is real. This does not mean we are weak. This does not mean that we just roll over and we're like, oh, tra-la-la-la-la, I love everything, everything's fine, and put your head up your backside. This is not what it's about. Life is hard. So we love regardless of this. We become love warriors. Because the world is not a safe, tra-la-la place. It's rough, it's violent. But that doesn't mean we become like that. It means we stay strong and we shine anyway, regardless of how rough it is, regardless of how the system and the matrix and the elites try and turn us into these crazy monsters, self-serving, egotistic, narcissistic beings, and making us believe without governments, this is what we'll all turn to. As far as I can see, it's the government causing all the war and not the people. The people are being conditioned and brainwashed via media and propaganda to believing that we need to go and attack people in a different country when the truth is there. I've spoken to many veterans of these armies who confirm we're over there protecting poppy fields and pipelines, and we're stealing these countries of wealth, gold, in the name of perceived democracy. Anyway, that's something else. So what I want to say is, we can accept what's going on in the world. It doesn't mean we turn into one of them, these unconscious beings, because the world's tough. It doesn't mean we wake up in the morning and go, oh, my life isn't so great and I can't be bothered. It means we overcome this regardless. Life is tough, life is hard, but life is full of beauty and love. We need to stop judging and accept the way it is, and get up and stand up regardless. Our only other option is we quit. Now personally, I'm going to tell my boy everything I did to try and make a difference, everything I tried to change in myself, and every time I tried to shine to help others. There's no point trying to fight a revolution. They have already sewn that game up. The only revolution we can do is of consciousness. Because if we raise the consciousness of the people, the families of the people serving in the forces and stuff like that, once they become conscious, they'll see for themselves, and they will realise for themselves killing is not the answer. The elites have control through wealth, and while we all worship money, they control us. Why they've created a system where we need money to survive, we can no longer grow our own food and sustain ourselves, we need the system. This is their control over us. Once we start looking out for our communities and start trading amongst each other again, money starts losing its value. This is why they go through so much with magazines and all the bling and nonsense to get us more and more addicted to finding our happiness within materialistic external stuff that isn't real. So the more we crave it, the more we find it temporarily with like any addiction. Once it's worn off, we want more, we want more. We're becoming insatiable consumers of the mind. We need. And that's not our fault, that's not our problem. That's not our fault, should I say, because we're conditioned to believe that's where our happiness is. And as happy, loving beings, which we are, that's what we're looking for. What we're doing is we're being misled and manipulated into looking in the wrong places for it. It's not external, it's within. It's within ourselves, and it's within what we do and how we shine. That's where the happiness and joy is, through gratitude and acceptance. So when we wake up and life isn't what we want it to be, we have to accept that, and then we decide, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to make it better? Not what can they do to make it better for me, or what can my husband and wife do today to make my life happy and perfect? What can my children do to make me happy? We go, what can we teach our children about the value of making others happy, about shining? What can I show my partner to make them realise that, oh wow, they're being really nice to me. And it's not about just what we can teach them. It's about us being the example. It's about us showing the universe what we want and how we want to be treated. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Now that doesn't mean if I'm nice to them over the road, they're going to be nice back. It doesn't work like that. What it means is we put it out into the universe, and the universe gives it us back. What we think, we create, and what we put out and what we think is what is reflected back into our life. So although at the moment you may be getting reflected back negativity, it doesn't mean you can't change that. You raise your consciousness and you make a stand and you get up and you start to shine, and people are going to want to beat you down. We don't judge them. That's where they're at. We accept and expect that to happen. And we get up anyway. We shine anyway. We take the lesson from it. Why are they doing it? What could I maybe do different? Why am I triggering them? Why are they triggering me? It's not personal. Don't be like, oh, John's an arsehole and he's doing this because of that. That's not the way. John doesn't know what he's doing any more than what we know what we're doing. All we can do is raise our consciousness. And like previous videos I've mentioned, we do this by protecting and knowing what is our energy and what is not energy. So whatever, it's like having a force field of energy. Whatever's fired at us negative, it just bounces off. We don't react to it. We don't take it on board. We don't feel bad just because someone else's behaviour is not so great to us. It doesn't mean we feel bad or we react and attack. We just accept that that's where they're at. And we stay fully conscious. We don't go into our mind or our ego and start trying to defend ourselves. We don't walk past a gate with a dog barking and start barking back. Why? Because the dog barking doesn't trigger us. Unless it does, and maybe you've got issues with dogs barking, I don't know. But as a norm, as a generalisation, we just walk past and we accept the dog is barking. It doesn't trigger us, and we just move on. So when someone's having a go at us and trying to trigger us, we do the same thing. I know the ego wants to kick in and go, how dare you? Who are you talking to? Trigger, trigger, trigger. I won't have that. Just let it go. Because I can guarantee you, half an hour later, after letting it go and not reacting, you'll feel so much better. Before you send that nasty email, that nasty text message, just leave it. And I bet you, later on you'll think, you know what? I'm so glad I didn't react. I'm so glad I didn't send that email. You might still want to say something, but you respond in a calm manner with a positive outcome rather than a hurtful reaction. You've hurt me, I'm going to bite back. You speak with more clarity and you get a response, how to resolve it rather than fight it. Now, it's important that we love, because this is why we're here. We are loving beings. You're loving beings. We don't get drawn into the chaos and the insanity. We accept everyone is where they are on their own path. And we accept that the elites and the people who are controlling the system and the matrix are manipulating people. And people are lost. People are being programmed since in school. Their parents have been programmed before them. They don't know any difference. We can't judge them for not knowing any difference. They are not making a choice. They don't know there's a choice. They are just following what they've been conditioned to follow. And we can't judge them for that, because we don't judge. We know where we are on our path, and we look for other conscious beings, and we associate and we go with them to recharge us and to recharge them. If you want to know who's conscious, have a look at the diet. If you want to know who's conscious, have a conversation and see how they respond. Do they talk about loving and feeling? Even if it may be in a normal conversation. These are signs that the person is empathic and they're conscious. These are the people we look for, and we build our community, and then we help everyone else to wake up. But first of all, we need to build communities for ourselves. So we've got a safe place so we no longer feel alone, and we're no longer afraid to love and shine. Anyway, that's that. So, when you wake up in the morning, like I do many mornings, and I go into the slave matrix, and I have to put on my little uniform, just remember, get up and shine. Nothing is forever. Make a difference. Change yourself, change the world. You're doing great. Love and light, keep shining. Have a great day, morning, noon and night, wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing. Thank you.